your hopes on this show and celebrate. When it's all over, the excitement will cause you to do backflips. So make your way through all the traffic to catch this one. You'll be happy that you did. Sports Night is next.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sports Night. I'm Joe Young.
I'm Howie Shapiro, and things are really getting rolling now in the winter season.
Now everybody's going.
Yeah, everybody's going.
Everybody's got one meet in, except for Alpine. They start later this week.
So next week, everybody will be in.
Then we'll finally be at full capacity. But we do have a couple more previews to give you of teams that are getting the season started this week. And then we're going to be done with previews, and then it'll be just the regular old show.
And things will start rolling along.
But a lot of stuff to talk about. We'll start with the boys hockey team. No video, but a couple of games, both on the home ice, and neither going in their favor. Heavily outshot by the Centennial Cougars, who are a very good club. They lose that one 8-1. A.J. Carls had the lone goal for the Cardinals. Then on Saturday, Totino Grace came in and put a 7-1 win on the Cardinals. It got a little hard to watch at the end, I'm not going to lie. Tommy Carls had the only goal for the Cardinals. 39-13 the shots on goal. They do have a couple of games coming up this week that are a little more winnable. We kind of felt that way about Totino a little bit, but Spring Lake Park coming to the Crick on Thursday, and then they play at the Super Rink on Saturday afternoon against Irondale.
Always tough, last two games being outscored 15-2, and those are some things that obviously Coach Mo has to be concerned a little bit about. But you're playing some really good competition, certainly in this conference.
They've seen a couple of really good teams in Elk River and Centennial right out of the bat, right out of the gate. But this last week, being outscored 15-2, that means defense wasn't quite where they wanted it to be, and offense wasn't either.
Yeah, it's a young season, so
plenty
of time to correct it.
We have a better report for you next week.
Let's hope so. Keep our fingers crossed.
Well, the girls hockey team put up back-to-back wins last week for the first time this season, and they have a chance to put together a big streak. It started on Tuesday with a trip to the Super Rink to face conference rival Totino Grace. Both the Bluebirds and Eagles would be looking for their second win of the year. Champlin Park Coon Rapids set the pace early, controlled the action from start to finish. The Eagles had some chances early on. First period breakaway for Rachel Zastapol, but Bailey Shuck shuts third down. No score until the second period. That's when Emily Peterson takes flight from the defensive end. Skates top of the slot, beats the keeper, top shelf, blocker side. 1-0. Still in the second, Eagles trying to tie it up on the power play, but Shuck comes up big again. She stopped all 19 shots she saw for her first shutout of the year. Early third, Bluebirds power play. Shot from the point, doesn't make it through, but Anna Biscallo able to sweep the rebound home. 2-0. Lets them breathe a little bit easier. Mackenzie Baker gets them a little added cushion late in the game, circling the net, spinning to score short side. Bluebirds get the 3-0 win, and really it could have been much greater. Their keeper also had a nice game, and just a team that the Bluebirds matched up very well with and really took the game too.
Yeah, it was nice, and you can't say enough about Bailey Shuck. She's had such a nice season, and getting the shutout. Granted, it's not the top of the conference, but an opportunity for the Bluebirds to play well, get 3 goals, and get the shutout too. Well, the Bluebirds hit the road again on Friday, their 5th straight game on the road, but they weren't complaining as they headed north to face Duluth. They finally had a little flow going and hitting part of their schedule where they should gain some ground. Duluth was just 1-7 coming in, and the Bluebirds weren't going to let them slow the momentum. Still Arena at the Heritage Center, the host for Friday night's event. Bluebirds break through a little more than midway through the first. Delaney Johnson with speed, splits the defense, drops the one off in the keeper's 5-hole, Johnson's 5th tally of the season. We move to later in the first. The puck cleared, defender falls, easy pickings for Erica Thiessen. Goes to the backhand to put CPCR up by 2. Duluth scored late in the period. We're at 2-1 after 1. Well, it's no problem for the Bluebirds. Early second, Hannah Lisney the shot. Great tip by Haley Williams out front, back to a 2-goal lead. Well, as Joe Yund always says, one good tip deserves another. Power play midway through the second. Mackenzie Baker with the redirect. This time it's 4-1 Champlin Park Coon Rapids. They're going to add one more late in the period. It's going to start. It starts with a net front presence. Up another tip on the doorstep. Jaden Herr is there to pick up the garbage. The Bluebirds dispose of Duluth rather easily by a score of 5-1.
Yeah, they're hitting that part of the schedule where they should be dominant, and they are dominating. This is a lot of what we saw from this team last year. A slow start, but had some very good competition early. And once they hit their stride, they start flowing a little bit better. Each and every unit playing better together, they're being able to produce a little bit more. And again, they're playing some teams that are a little bit lower on the totem pole and a little bit easier pickings.
Well, and then we talked about it. We've been talking about it for weeks. The fact that they had that tough schedule to start, I think, really kind of builds up for this part of the season. Really taught them a lot, learned what they needed to do, and they're continuing on here as the season goes on.
Well, they finally get to come home on Tuesday. It's hard to believe they played 8 games. Only 2 of them are home games, 1 at Crick and 1 at the Champlin Ice Forum. They're back at Crick on Tuesday to host Iredale. They're at Armstrong on Saturday. Well, it's been a rather chaotic start to the season for the wrestling team, but at least all of this past week's activities were on the home floor. After starting the season with 4 matches in roughly 24 hours, this past Friday, Saturday, the Cardinals wrestled 5 times. It started with a tri-meet on Friday night, opening with a clearly overmatched opponent from Andover. Huskies had to forfeit 5 weight classes, and the Cardinals took 6 of the remaining 9. Gabe DeGris, dominant at 126, earns himself an 18-2 Tech fall. Demetrius Seals gets the first pin of the night for the Cardinals at 152, and it certainly wouldn't be their last. He puts his man in the cradle, says goodnight, 24 seconds into the second period. Zach Thomas on the mat next at 160. He gets his cradle on really tight, rocks his man to the mat, getting the pin at 330. Senior Nick Berg not letting his man out of the first period, gets the pin at the edge of the mat in 159. Gavin Layton also had a pin for the Cardinals at heavyweight. Cardinals in a cakewalk, 63-1.
Yeah, again, it was a dominating win over. I guess we're going right there. The second opponent of the night was really the main attraction. The Stillwater Ponies were ranked just a couple of spots behind the Cardinals. Both teams hoping to prove they're underrated. Both dispatched Andover easily, and now it was time to get down to business. Noah Glenn's home debut as head coach facing a tough opponent. The Ponies had 2 pins that helped them build a lead early in the meet, but Elijah Madimba able to slow their roll. Great head takedown, and he rides it out for a third period pin. Cardinals still trail 19-10. Dalen Jones up next at 145. He had a lead, but he saw it slip away in the third period. Those back points tied the match with just seconds left. Jones able to get back to his feet. Then he's going to roll over Stillwater's Jeff Robinson. Gets the escape just before the buzzer sounds. Is able to salvage a 12-11 win and 3 big team points. It's a nice win for him there. Moises Madimba wastes no time coming up here, taking care of his man at 160. He just takes him straight to his back, then works for the pin, finishing in just 58 seconds, 23-19 with 5 matches left. Nice pin there. But unfortunately, that's as close as it would get. The Ponies with the next 3, 2 with pins. Nick Berg does get them that 1 more pin to celebrate, getting his man wrapped up in the cradle midway through the second period. But the Ponies, they just have too much power, winning this one by a score of 41-25.
Yeah, it was predictable going in that Andover would be a little bit of a pushover for both of these teams, but it was exciting, and there were a lot of people in the stands because it was a tri-meet. But for the way they've started, they come in, they had 3-1 in their opening weekend. Come in to take 1-1. They would have liked to get Stillwater a win too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But still in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, and I think coming into that, Stillwater was ranked a little bit below them, and they thought they had an opportunity. Stillwater had, I believe, 4 wrestlers rated in the polls, with the Cardinals just the 2, and they proved the stronger opponent that evening. Yeah,
and the key was the Cardinals really needed to do better at the lower weights.
Yep.
A lot of strength in those upper to middle upper weights for Stillwater, and it was just too much to overcome, unfortunately. Then on Saturday, they turn around and they host the Board Highland Duels. Starts with a 55-18 win over Hibbing. They lost to Northfield 46-18, but finished with a 35-27 win a tight one over Zumbrota Mazeppa. Some of the highlights, Moses Medimba was 3-0 with a pin and a tech fall. Gavin Layton 3-0 with a pin. Gavin Layton, the sophomore heavyweight, looks to be exciting to watch this season. Zach Thomas, Dalen Jones, and Nick Lattery all finished at 2-1. Lattery getting both of his victories by pin. And, this was just all in preparation. These two very busy weekends in preparation for their next two events, two biggest tournaments in the upper Midwest. They're in Rochester this weekend, Friday, Saturday, for the Minnesota Christmas Tournament. And then the weekend of Friday, Saturday, the 28th, 29th, they'll be in Fargo for the Rumble on the Red.
It's going to be fun, watching this team. They've got some good wrestlers, and it's going to be fun watching Gavin Layton develop over this year and the next couple, because he's a big young man. He's just a sophomore. He's going to grow. He's going to get some more muscle. He's going to be a strong wrestler for this program.
Well,
the next 3 years.
We were there on Friday night for Andover and Stillwater. Was it 4 sophomores, I think, in the lineup, and all from the middleweights up. So a lot of big kids that are still young shows some real promise for the future.
You bet.
Swimming and diving team got its season started last week. They opened with Anoka on Thursday. They lose to the Tornadoes 100-78. Tyler Schultz, though, a first-place finish in the 100 fly and a second-place finish in the 100 breast. Andrew Trong was first and third in the 500 free and the 200 free. I believe those are both best times for him. Jake Simmer had a personal best on the 6 dive, first place in that event. He remains like 13th all time. And the 200 medley relay team finished in second place. That is as fast as they went all season last year in the 200 medley relay. So to start there is fantastic for this team.
Yeah. Coach Johnson sent us a pretty involved email, which we always love. And he was talking about how Anoka, that they're really a quality squad, and they're going to be pretty much the class of this conference. So, again, you swim against the best, and you continue to work and continue to best your personal times, and that's all they can do.
Well, and I had meant to bring that out with me. I had you printed out.
I did all that work for you.
Forgot it on the desk in the back to highlight some of his points from that. He talked about the relays. It's not a true event. It's not scored. It doesn't matter towards conference or anything. But some guys, he said, had really strong dives. I should point out against Anoka, Coon Rapids divers went 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, saw that. That was great.
So that's kind of cool.
Yep.
So there was a lot of excitement in his email about the relays. A lot of guys doing outstanding things. Fortunately, I didn't bring it, so we're going to have to wing it. Moving along, they host Elk River on Thursday, and then the Bengal Invite is on Saturday. Both those events, of course, at the Northdale Middle School pool. Gymnastics also getting its season started on Thursday. They took on Elk River, or Chample Park, rather, which is one of the top teams around every year. They score a 142. Cardinals start with a 121.963, not quite what they were hoping for, but it's a starting point. Aaliyah Vu was top on the bars with a 4th place finish. Cassie Rushmeyer, 5th place on the beam. Rachel Dieters, 3rd place on the vault. And Aaliyah Vu was 3rd in the all-around with a little better than a 31. The Cardinals, they were hoping for better results and a little better score in their first meet, but they know they're capable of much more. This is a young and talented group, so there's plenty of potential for these Cardinals to soar to new heights. The program has taken some big steps the past couple of years, and the next couple of seasons look to be even more exciting.
I've got a really strong varsity core coming back, so I'm pretty excited about that. We have a very young team. I only have 1 senior on the team, and the rest of the girls are pretty young. A lot of 8th graders, so a lot of underclassmen, so that's great for the future of the program.
For the past several seasons, the Cardinals have been striving to reach the 130s. Last year, they were finally able to go up and over, and they believe it's just the beginning.
Our last year's team score, our highest one was 132, so we're hoping to get higher than that this year. I feel like with the team that we have this year, we'll definitely be able to do that, so I'm excited to see what we can do.
The Cardinals lost a couple of major contributors from last year's lineup, but that team's success came from its depth. They return a lot of talent and experience, and they're committed to moving forward.
We just hope to just improve every meet and improve our score every meet like we did last year. Hitting a 130 for us last year was a huge milestone for our program. So I'm hoping this year, we can hit the 120s and the 125s and try to hit that 130 mark, because that's a realistic goal for our team.
Another key to the program's recent progress is a swell in numbers, and that tradition continues this season. So far, the veterans are very impressed with their new additions and how they'll impact the team.
All the new people are they're really nice, and they have improved a whole lot since the beginning of the season, and I think they have really good potential for the season.
The veterans are eager to get the season going. They want to show how they've improved and see how it all comes together. And the Cardinals are confident they'll be competitive in every event.
This year, for sure, floor. We have some big skills coming through. I've individually had growth on the bars and the vault, but I think we'll do pretty good on beam. We have a lot of girls competing for that.
Perhaps the most important factor in the Cardinals' recent success is their work ethic. They set their goals high, and they work together to push the limits.
But I think we'll do really good if we just keep up the hard work and keep training every day like we're champions.
Well, they have a little bit of a break. They're not going to compete again until Anoka next week.
Yep.
And then they're off till after the first of the year.
A lot of enthusiasm in that program, a lot of excitement for this year and bettering what they did from a year ago.
Well, it's going to be a hard bar to reach without those two girls, but they did get, two gone. That means you get four back.
This is true.
And they had a number of different girls who stepped in. One of last year's seniors was in and out with some injury over the last couple of seasons, so they've got a little bit more depth than they had 5-6 years ago, and there's more enthusiasm, as you talked about, and that's building more numbers. And I think those, everybody there is quite confident that they can get back to at least the 130.
Well, it certainly sounds that way.
As I mentioned, they start at Anoka on the 22nd.
That's correct. You are right. No question.
Nordic ski team started its season this past week as well with a 5K skate with their Northwest Suburban Conference friends. About half the conference anyway was there. Boys finished in first place. Ricky Petrov in fourth with Jared Haida right behind him. Joe Thoen coming in sixth. Noah Christensen in ninth and Micah Gilliard in 10th. 5 in the top 10, Shapiro.
Nice
That's how
job.
you start. Girls, not quite the same, but not far off either. Third place for them, Olivia Ellenbecker in third with her sister Abby right behind her. Lila Gilliard was in 13th, Izzy Haberman in 16th, and Maddie Karen finished in 18th in 17 minutes and 20 seconds.
Well, the Cardinals certainly are pleased with the results from the first meet, but it's just the start of a long season. This is a team that on a continued mission to compete for the conference and section titles. The Cardinals made great strides last year, and with some early help from Mother Nature, they're confident this season will be even better.
This year we've been out to Elm Creek a few times, skiing and working on things.
Getting out on the snow right away is a huge bonus for this team. It isn't always the case, and with a good influx of young skiers, it makes getting the season going that much easier.
Everybody's doing pretty good. Our first years are improving dramatically already. At this time last year, we still really weren't on snow, and now we can get them on snow. And it does make a big difference to be on snow versus on wheels, because even though they're doing the same stuff, it just is a different feel on snow.
Both Cardinal programs are coming off strong seasons. Both return a lot of veterans, and both are committed to pushing forward.
Last year, our girls team actually did really well. We only missed state by 6 points, so we were super close. So hopefully this year we can step up to the plate and do it again.
The entire girls team will be back, including two-time state entrant Abby Ellenbacher. The boys team had only 2 seniors, so they have most of their lineup returning as well. It's a group that knows what it takes, and they're ready to get it done.
There's a lot of people who just want to work really hard this year and try and get better, which I haven't seen in a while.
As a team, we're really passionate about the sport, and everyone tries super hard at practices, and everyone is always working hard and wanting to improve.
The sky is the limit for this group of Cardinals. They have a wealth of talent and experience at the top of both lineups. It's a challenging road before them, but they're confident they're strong enough both physically and mentally.
Not everybody's just, staying positive, which is one of our big keys this year. Is just, got to be staying positive, and everybody's sticking with that right now.
They have a classic ski 5K coming up at Highland Hills on Wednesday. The Winona Classic is coming up for them on Saturday. Alpine ski team will get its season started on the 18th. So
It's coming up.
They're finally going to get
coming
out.
up.
They don't have to worry about whether snow's going to make it or not. And the boys basketball team, we talked about their season opener last week, and then for some reason, just with the way their schedule worked, they had a week and a half off to think about their next game. They don't play again until Tuesday. They play at Cambridge. And remember, they're starting with that tough road trip right off the bat. They got a couple more tough section opponents on the road over the next few days. At Cambridge on Tuesday, at St. Francis on Saturday. Girls basketball team only had one game this past week. The Cardinals hosting section rival St. Francis and losing 50-39. Macy Holland led the way with 13 points. Ashley Flatham had 11, added 7 rebounds. Nicole Post had 11 rebounds, only 4 points. 3 other players had 3 points each. Cardinals fall to 1-2. They're at Armstrong on Tuesday and at Duluth East on Thursday.
Yeah, and they're going to look for Post, for her this season, a lot of that effort underneath the basket because she's got the size, she's got the ability, and they're going to look for her for some rebounding as well.
Well, and they've got her. They've got Lainey Hanneman, obviously, who's a returning veteran inside. They've got a lot of pieces. They just haven't quite gotten them together and going quite yet.
Young season, plenty of time.
But that is going to do it for this edition of Sports Night. I want to thank everybody out there for joining us and continuing to support everything we do here at CTN. For the entire crew, including Howie Shapiro, I'm Joe Young saying good night.